Welcome to the Good Place Marionville podcast, dedicated to highlighting the good right here in Marionville, Missouri.
We've reported on this podcast in the past how realtors in Marionville say that our schools are a huge draw for families moving to town. This year, our elementary school has a new principal leading the school. Allie Lumpkin is here as our guest today, so we can get to know her and what she's looking forward to in her new role. Allie Lumpkin, tell us about your family, married, kids, extended family nearby. Tell us all about yourself, Allie Lumpkin, and welcome to the Good Place Marionville podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. So I'm married to my husband, Cody. We've been together since I was 15. We have 3 kids.
You got married at 15? That's kind of young.
Yeah. No. Together since 15.
They got googly eyes back when she was
That's my oldest is Beckham. He's about to be 10. Our daughter, Blakely, she's about to turn 8. And then our youngest, Bodie, he just actually turned 3. So
awesome.
yeah.
That's great.
I noticed out back you had like the family truckster, so I figured you had a lot of kids to haul around.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
and where do you live? Do you live in Marionville?
No, we actually live south of Crane. It's called Wheelerville. So it's very tiny, and practically it's my entire family that lives there. So
that's awesome.
Nobody's allowed in.
So it should be called Lumpkinville.
Yeah, kind of. My dad likes to joke that he's the mayor. So
there you go. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, just in the spirit of getting to know you as a person, do you have any hobbies or favorite pastimes that you do outside of education and school?
Yeah. So my kids are super active, all sorts of sports. My son, Beckham, he plays for a traveling basketball team and a traveling baseball team. So pretty much, and he does football. So anytime I'm not at school, I'm at ball games. My daughter's super into gymnastics. She does softball. She does basketball. And then we've got Bodie, and he kind of just tags along. I also love to bake. I'm really into baking bread. So that's something that I like to do when I'm actually at home.
Bad news for you, though. You didn't demonstrate that by coming to the studio today.
I didn't bring an ice sample.
If you really wanted to brag about it, you could have brought that in today.
You do need to be home
to sample that.
You need to be home to bake bread.
Yeah, yeah. I'll bring you some next time.
Next time.
That's
good. She's saying that next time. That's okay. All right. So what's your career path look like? Have you always hoped to become a principal?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a principal. I've known from the beginning. So when we found out we were having Beckham, I started in school to get my bachelor's, and I worked full time at my previous district. They gave me a provisional, so I worked full time. I was already teaching, and I was working on being a full-time college student. And then I had Beckham, and I continued, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my master's. I want to keep going and knock it out. So I then had Blakely, and I was still working full-time college student. And but I've just always known that I wanted to be a principal.
So when you were teaching, what were you teaching?
I was 7th and 8th grade reading.
Okay.
I was also the K-12 librarian. I was our MOSIS coordinator and our parents as teachers educator. So
favorite genre?
Oh, realistic fiction.
Realistic fiction.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Martha and I, we definitely read a lot of fiction. Science fiction was up. My librarian introduced me to science fiction in 6th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Never let go of that. But also then love historical fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Great stuff like that.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
So you said something else. So,
some kind of coordinator.
Oh, MOSIS coordinator. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's like I take all of the school district's data and I submit it to the state. So it's everything. I'm like turning in every single class that a student takes. I'm turning in every single student, every single course that a teacher offers, their attendance, everything.
Wow.
It's
so all the documentation, all the data.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, so
all that data.
Somebody's got to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So what attracted you to Marionville?
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. We always loved Marionville. My husband and I, we've kind of always been on the outside looking in because I have family here. Mm-hmm. My cousins play basketball here, and we go to football games, and we went to girls' basketball games, and my husband and I were like, we've got to figure out a way to get our kids to Marionville because your guys' community is just incredible. They're so supporting. They just do whatever it takes for the students and to support everybody, and we wanted our kids to be a part of that. So we've always aspired to be here. So
That's so cool. I have goosebumps as you say that because, we don't have any idea who's watching,
Right.
And it's one thing to see it from an athletic, like competition perspective, but for people to be watching and saying, there's something special here, they do bleed blue.
Yeah,
If we
they
know
do.
that, everybody here bleeds blue.
Yeah.
And go Comets.
I've actually been on several medical calls here in town on the fire department. Nobody bleeds blue.
Okay, well, figuratively,
I'm like,
no,
we don't have any.
we don't want their
Okay.
blood coming out.
Okay.
But there is school pride
Yeah.
through and through, and
Absolutely.
it's generational. And
Yes.
so that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's incredible.
All right. So what are you most excited about as you get ready for the 2020, the 2025, the 2026 school year, knowing that everything's being remodeled.
Yeah.
Everything's turned upside down right now. There's dust in every corner of the elementary and middle school. What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I'm super excited just to get into the building, to meet.
They won't let you in yet?
No, I've been in,
Oh, okay.
but for the year to start, to get the kids in the building and to get my teachers, my staff, meet everybody. I've met some, but I'm just genuinely excited to create relationships with all of them. I want them to see me. I want to meet them. I want to know about them. I want to know what their goals are. And I just want to help them achieve whatever they aspire. So
That's so good. Okay, so just another fun question. A lot of kids, when you're thinking about school, they'll bring an apple or a candle or something, to their teacher or someone in the office.
Do that stuff anymore?
Okay, well, no, mainly it's, Stanley tumblers and, things like that. But anyway, there's, families love to give gifts. They love to love on their teachers and administrators. What is something that you would want to be left on your desk?
coffee.
Coffee.
I'm a big coffee person all day. Yeah, gets me through.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
Just vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
So simple.
Yeah.
That's great. Vanilla coffee there, everybody. Just note that for the annals.
Note that.
There could be a time where you're going to need that, and it will be good to have it there.
And we'll make sure we have vanilla as a flavor at the gathering when we open this
Yes,
fall.
we are
Right.
opening a coffee shop next door.
All right.
So.
All right. So there is a lot of construction going on at the school. And between the new preschool, that's the program, you got the building, the new preschool building, moving the administrative offices. So much. How is it all coming?
It's coming along great. I have went over to the new preschool building multiple times. It's going to be great. They're putting up the new playground. I've actually had to drive my kids by a couple times because they're just so excited. They can't hardly stand it. In the elementary building, they're bringing down the ceiling a little bit, and they're putting in the new doors. They're painting. We're getting new lockers. So it's going to be great. I know it's going to be like a whole new place.
And is it the elementary or the middle school, junior high that has the new security door entry?
I think so. I know they updated it in the elementary, but I think it was the whole building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they did that.
You're kind of at a disadvantage in the sense that you don't know what it was really like. And so now that everything is going to be moved around and switched and everything, but it's all very exciting. And a lot of that is due to the bond that was passed this last year. And so it is wonderful that there's an opportunity to do so many improvements. And that is exciting. Okay. So as a community, I am sure that there's people watching the podcast today that don't have kids in school and they haven't been connected to what's currently happening there and stuff. How do you think the community can best support you as you lead the elementary school?
Yeah. So I just want everybody to know that I've been put into this role and I'm going to do whatever I can to help the students and my staff succeed. And there's going to be tough decisions that have to be made sometime, but it's what's best for the students. That's what's going to be ultimately how I make decisions. And I just want them to know that no matter what, I'm always looking out for the kids. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We need a lot of that in this world in general, and so being an advocate for the kids is a huge thing.
So what about the parents that will walk alongside you as well? What can they expect from you as a leader, and how can they best support you?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to do what I can to support their children, right? So however I can support them in class, support them in the hallway, I'm going to be there for them no matter what. We have some community events coming up. So if they can just show up, I would love to meet them, create those relationships with them, meet the students.
Are those community events something like do emails go out to parents, or how do they know about that?
It should go out on Thrillshare. I know on the last day of summer school, we passed out a paper. I believe it's
Yeah, I heard some kids walking by going, "I left my paper at my desk." No,
We have firsthand knowledge of
we do.
locals.
Yes, yeah. I don't think those papers all made it home.
Yeah,
So why don't you tell people right now what you got coming up?
Okay, so I believe it's August 5th. Will make sure that we post a Thrillshare about this. But they're just doing a little community event. They're going to pass out school supplies. There's going to be haircuts. There's going to be bouncy houses, all sorts of things. So we would love for all of the kids and their parents to show up and just take advantage of those resources.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Is that the National Night Out? Is that in coordination with that? I think that's the flyer that went
probably
home.
is,
Somebody sent me a picture of it and said, "Hey, this came home from summer school." So that might be what
probably
it is.
Yep.
So you'll be there.
Yes.
And
I'll be
people
there.
can meet you.
Yes.
So we'll have a big sign. New elementary principal here. You might want to wear a t-shirt.
I mean, will there be a pie throwing contest where, hey, I haven't done anything wrong yet, but if you like to throw a pie now,
If they decide to make that happen, I need to know because I'm gonna have to bring a shower cap.
There you go. There you go.
yeah, I don't have to worry about stuff like that.
That sounds like a great way for people though to get to rub shoulders with you and get to know you a little bit outside of the confines of the school. So how can and you being new may not know all these answers, but I believe there are people in this community that would like to be involved in helping this school. I know when our kids were in elementary school, there were the ladies, specifically ladies, but there were men that came too, like that were always cutting out art projects and they were helping in the classrooms and things like that. Is there somewhere where people can connect, like maybe with the school office if they wanted to volunteer?
Yeah, I would say if we have anybody that would want to volunteer, they would have to reach out to our front office first, Miss Julie. And then if we have anything that pops up and we need extra help, we can reach out to them. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want the community to know, that I'm sure there are ways that they can be utilized if they want to invest in the community in that way.
Absolutely.
Opportunities everywhere for people right here in our community to give back to the community and the schools. So, and all in one. So, Allie, very exciting. Last question, Allie. Is there anything else you want Marionville to know about Allie Lumpkin before the school year begins?
I'm just super excited. I'm so grateful that I was given this position, and I'm going to step in and do whatever I can to just make the elementary the best that it can be. So
that's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to watching that. And hang on here, we have a few more other things of good news happening around town that we're going to share with everybody right now. In city news, it's incredibly important to keep up with everything that's happening in our city. So remember to periodically check the city website to stay up to date. On the calendar, you will see there's a special Alderman meeting tonight, June 25th at 6:30 that you might want to attend as they discuss the cemetery and public works, which greatly affects our city. And that website is marionvillemo.gov.
All right, this Saturday night, June 28th, are the city fireworks at the park with food trucks and music ahead of time. You can also come support the Marionville
FFA. Future Farmers of America.
FFA.
Yes.
Why'd you put an Allen? Okay.
I don't know.
All right. And you can support the Marionville Future Farmers of America that night with the purchase of your choice of ice cream, root beer floats, or a snow cone, which is not made of snow, but just shaved ice. From Sno-Jo Café food truck. All proceeds support Marionville students through the FFA alumni. They will be located at the Marionville High School Ag Building, so come by before hanging out to watch the Marionville City firework show. And it's always phenomenal fireworks right here in Marionville.
Yeah.
Allie, have you ever come up to Marionville for the fireworks?
I haven't. No.
They're very good.
Kidding me. You said you knew how great Marionville was. You know about our fireworks?
I know.
What's great is that it's not 4th of July, so you can still go do your other family things or whatever, but this Saturday night is that, and I think based on what they're doing with the ice cream and snow cones there, that you can see the fireworks from the high school. So people, I don't know, you locals.
We've already gone down to the
we
park.
always stay down at the park, but I am sure you can see it from both places, so that's why they're doing that. Okay. Mark your calendars for this good event. National Night Out is what I think we were just talking about on Tuesday, August 5th from 5 to 7 at Marionville City Park. Enjoy a fun-filled evening with meeting the police and the fire department, more snow cones, bounce houses, free school supplies, haircuts, hot dogs, chips, and water. And all of this is free and for the community. So we'll see you down there. And we're hoping to do a special show on that soon. This episode of the Good Place Marionville podcast is sponsored by the Bank of Billings, where their core values include customer first, passion for service, and commitment to community. Their core values have enabled them to be in business since 1889. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. You know, in first responder news, there were dozens, I guess a dozen or more, men and women that have gathered at the fire station over 2 hot weekends in June in order to complete, Jim, was it called Fire One?
Fire
training?
One. Yep.
Okay, this is quite a remarkable training. Jim, can you tell us anything about us hosting that event and what those people come away with?
They practice putting out fires, so they practice breaking down doors in case people are trapped inside. They practice putting on their SCBA equipment, which is self-contained breathing apparatus stuff, and they go into a fire. They just learned all the basics about fire, and they did it so they can get certified and go get jobs in fire departments that pay, or if they're volunteering in a fire department so they can be a better first responder. And again, speaking of that, we would love to have you join us on the Marionville Fire Department. We are looking for volunteers. This is not a huge commitment, but it is a commitment. But we are needing people to join us to be able to help protect our community. You can always check in at City Hall to get more information or talk to Chris Bowling.
All right, Jim, speaking of the fire department, there's a competition blood drive coming up at the library. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Jane is always trying to drive a little competition here in town, and she's decided that we're going to give blood on July the 9th, that she's pitting the firefighters against the police department, against, wasn't it teachers too? I mean, who's the departments that are going to give the most blood? And it's July the 9th. There'll be a bloodmobile at the library from 12 to 5 p.m. Go out, make sure you say, hey, I'm
You'll get to designate who you're rooting for, I guess, is how it is. So
that's right.
That's exciting.
Yeah, first responders versus people that have served in the military, I think is what it is.
There you go.
So, I mean, we're going to have some fun and give some blood. And, there's always a shortage of blood at the local blood banks. Come, give some of yours. It'll grow back.
I read in the fine print also that every donor will get a pass to a new water park that's down in Branson. So that sounds pretty awesome.
It does.
Was something, I can't remember the name of it.
Yes. Agua.
I'm not sure. All right. In business news, B's and G's Dairy Crust had a car show this past weekend, and it was a hot success. And we're looking forward to other things that might happen at the Dairy Crust.
Hey, and there's a new shake available at B's and G's. They're calling it the
Pie clone.
The pie clone.
So they're taking the fried pie and putting it in the ice cream and blending it all up.
I don't know why you do that, because Bobby's fried pies are unbelievable. But if you want to mix it with ice cream, it just makes it better. Level. That's right. Speaking of B's and G's, right across the highway from them, a new food truck is making its own. Watch for it to open soon and add more variety to the menu here in town. And we heard sushi and...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hibachi, I think.
Sushi and hibachi. All right. Yeah. In additional business news, Central Place, if you're looking for an office to rent, a space dedicated for you to focus on your business, Central Place has a couple offices available. A dedicated space that's all-inclusive. The stunning, remodeled, rehabilitated atmosphere and business environment at Central Place is just what you need. Give us a call, 417-677-8167, or drop in and see us, 417-677-8167.
In other business news, we know of a business owner that is looking to hire a reliable worker. If you can be consistent and be on time, he will teach you the job. Reach out to Jim. I'll put his phone number in the notes, and he will give you more details on that.
We're talking a local business owner that wants to pay extraordinarily well for somebody that can drive and can show up for work on time and learn a skill.
That sounds awesome. All right. Also around town, Apple Fest is September 19th and 20th. If you have a cottage business or a food trailer, or you want to get your business in front of literally thousands of people, it's time for you to reserve your vendor space today. I'll put the website in the link, but it's marionvilleapplefest.com, and it's not too late to get involved and become a volunteer as well. We would have the perfect role just for you.
All right. Thanks to Allie Lumpkin for being our guest today. And thanks also to the Bank of Billings for sponsoring today's podcast. Hey, you could consider becoming a sponsor of this podcast. Get your name out in front of hundreds of people every week. You can contact us at goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com.
You can also report good news by emailing goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when each episode releases.
Thanks for joining us for the Good Place Marionville podcast. Keep your eyes out for the good, and together we can celebrate Marionville.